What's going on, YouTube? I'm Poji Forrest here with Nathan and Nick. That worked out really well. We got for you today a combination deck profile video duel and discussion about a deck list that was posted on the Kaijudo website. They call it the Stompy deck. Nathan says it is a traditional
name.
I say it's stupid. I don't care if it's traditional. I think it sounds stupid. Sounds like Stompy to me, but whatever.
Hey, no one said it was a good name. I just said it was a traditional name.
Yeah, well, it's a stupid name. But we got the deck laid out here. We're gonna go over it because here's the deal. I looked at it in the past. Wizards has posted deck lists before, and they look terrible on paper. Yes. But the last deck that they posted, their blue-black control. Just for fun, Carl built it one day. Earth Power. He built the deck, and he played it in a tournament, and he top 2'd. No one wanted to see that deck top 2. Even Carl didn't want to see that deck top 2, but he top 2'd with it. And the only reason why he didn't win the whole tournament is because I was his opponent, and we agreed to split the prize. So that deck probably could have gone all the way. We were playing some fairly serious decks, and it beat all of them. But this deck, I think, is like that deck was more than it appeared. You don't judge that book by its cover. I think you can judge this book by its cover. I think this is a fairly bad deck, but we'll see. The deck builder is some guy called Gavin Verhey.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not mutilating that.
I've looked at the deck. It's very similar to my old Mono Nature build,
but it's running certain cards that I think make it worse.
It's more of a rush style aggro deck, while mine was more of a control style aggro deck. So there are differences. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to be running the deck since I've got the most experience running in with Mono Nature.
After this deck is after we go through this deck, I'm going to mention cards that I think weaken the deck. He's free to make an argument for them if he wants to.
Until the end of your turn.
But Mono Nature, I mean, even the best possible Mono Nature can't compete with blurple and fire water nature aggro right now, and I think that this is no exception.
We'll see what happens, because
that's why we're playing the deck, because as I said,
I'm not going to judge
Wizards
this
decks. They seem bad on paper, but then you play them and they actually turn out to be good. I think this one's still bad, but we'll find out. First, let's go through.
This is my first time seeing the list, so I'm not sure.
Well, first we're going to go through the list itself. I apologize for the fact that this is extremely difficult to see. Starting up over here in the top left corner, we got Prickleback at 3, Drifting Toadstool at 3. Toadstool, I understand why it's here. It's for extra mana generation. I think it's going to mess the deck up more than help it because it takes the mana from your hand, so it reduces your hand options. Do you have anything to say on the card? Prickleback is an obviously good card. Everyone who plays Nature Beastkin plays Prickleback, but I don't think
it's going to mess you up simply because you're playing it for the guaranteed turn 2 extra mana, and you only need its effect to go off once. Once it goes off that first time, its effect is an optional effect. So after you use that first time, you don't really need to use it again. Actually, after that first one, you'll probably use Drifting Toadstool as your guaranteed charge for the turn.
Maybe, but here's the way I'm looking at it. By reducing your hand options, you don't know. You're forced to play off the top of the deck. That's an extremely inconsistent way to play. Plus, he himself is a really horrible top deck.
You're looking at him as if the person's going to turn around and go, and okay, you're reducing your hand size. You're thinking like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to reduce my hand size. Next turn, I'm going to do this again.
I'm not looking at it as if we do it again. I'm looking at it as you're reducing, in terms of value of hand size and field size, it's an instant -1 because he gives you nothing and he takes a card out of your hand.
When you play him, what you're looking for is when you play him on turn 2, you've still got a decent sized hand. After you put that card down into your mana pool,
you're not drawing much with this deck. Reap and Sow is the only draw card here.
Mono Nature never draws cards, really.
And that's why it's horribly inconsistent and doesn't play well. Flame Spike Tatsurian, really big card. He's kind of popular in the meta right now. I think he might be a little too popular because his one buff is that he's essentially incapable of dying as a result of battle because he's so huge. And I find that unnecessary because, to compare to the other evolution in here, which is Bronze Arm Sabretooth, no one swings over Sabretooth either. Who needs the extra
Good Lord, John.
6,000 power for 2 more mana?
It just stops Sabretooth from going after him.
Okay. Is that game?
That's really the main thing it stops. It stops another Sabretooth going after him.
No, that's not game.
Other than that,
No. One more. Yeah.
the extra buff isn't that.
It's not necessary in today's meta. It really isn't.
Though we'll see with upcoming packs how it fares against future meta.
Up here at the top, we've got 2 Moonhowler Tribe and 2 Chief Mini Tribes. I guess this is bait. I can't really argue with Moonhowler Tribe. I think Chief Mini Tribes is extremely inconsistent, partially because of his cost, partially because out of 2 of and a deck that doesn't draw much, you're not going to draw him when you need him. And, sure, you got this, and this that are, at cost.
Not to mention, his effect is really hard to pull off.
That's what I mean. He's extremely inconsistent. If he was 3 or 4 mana where you were forced to wait till later and you could play other guys in the meantime, then think him a 3 for 2 with that effect, I would like him. As he is, I think that he comes out too soon.
I don't think he's really going to play a big role in the deck. He's one of the other cards I'm not entirely sure of. It's really going to depend on how the rest of the deck plays.
In my case, we know it's purely here for Mana Excel because otherwise we would just run Moonhowler Tribe.
So
If you're just playing it to be a 2-drop, you'd run a Moonhowler Tribe or Essence Elf. Anything, in my opinion, is better than Chief Mini Tribes.
Chief Mini Tribes, some we're going to have to see in action. I'm not entirely sure on it yet. I can't say yes or no to the card.
The only thing you can change to spell 3/3 is.
Alright, so we got Sprout at 3.
Necessary for Mono Nature.
I'm not sure if I would call it necessary, but I think it is a good card, at least in the early game. It's a horrible card to top deck into late game, but that's the risky play playing the card.
Yeah.
Razorhide, standard, 3 for 2, generate mana when he attacks. I rarely got to use that effect myself, but he's bait, so who cares. Reap and Sow, awesome card, usable not only in Mono Nature, but it's used in control decks that run Nature.
It's got a good ability. It does what it's supposed to do consistently.
It's more consistent because it allows you a better option of what you're putting into your mana zone. Nick, you have no comments on any of this?
Not right now, no. As far as Razorhide goes, I have gotten to use the effect maybe once or twice. Then he'll either die or be evolved. So I
Yeah.
see his effect
Where
being useful
I've
one
consistently
time.
used his effect is in Mono Nature. That's where I've consistently used his effect. Outside of Mono Nature, I might get to use him here and there. He's mainly bait, but inside Mono Nature, I've gotten to use his effect plenty of times.
Next, we got Bronze Arm Tribe. He sees less play nowadays because there's better mana options, in my opinion. Plus, he's a little undercost and overpriced. Sabretooth, great card. He's what makes Nature viable, in my opinion. One of the best cards we got out of Evo Fury. Return of Soil, standard. Root Trap, standard. Silver Fist. He's probably the reason why it's a Mono Nature deck because
He is, because it's a 5 mana card with 8,000 power double breaker.
but only when all your mana is Nature.
So for this deck, the main reason Toadstool is in there is to guarantee, because the one that you want to use turn 2 is Sprout, but Toadstool is there to guarantee that no matter what, you will have a turn 2 Mana Excel, and when you go a turn 2 Mana Excel, you're looking at turn 4 at the earliest, dropping a Silver Fist, or the next card on the list, which is Force It. Force It, he's good in the fact that he's 5 for 7. He's an early double breaker,
No, I think he's terrible.
but
Yeah,
I don't think he's the best card for the slot. I would prefer to play Mighty Shouter. I want to see how he plays.
Now, here's the thing. Forset can't attack creatures because of focused anger. He'd rather attack players. He will not attack creatures. And that is a problem because to me that means that the enemy is practically not scared of him at all because he can't swing over any of their attackers. If they're playing a rush deck, this guy is really no problem to
and
them.
if you're losing and you top deck into him, you might as well just give up.
This is why I'd say, I understand
One thing
why
that I
he's
think is extremely wrong with this deck is that it's not taking the most advantage of the defense options that Nature affords itself. mainly is lacking a set of Tendril Grasp. Tendril Grasp is a great blast that can clear a bunch of creatures at once and provide the deck with more mana in a pinch. And I think that without Tendril Grasp, this deck is going to lose much faster because it's only got 6 blasts, and those blasts only take care of one creature at a time.
It's got 9 blasts because you can still Sprout.
Well,
as a
Sprout,
blast.
but Sprout's not going to do anything for you when you're losing.
It's not a defensive blast.
It's not going to do anything for you when you're losing.
Now, looking at the deck, I'll play it the way it is, but honestly, the changes I would make to it to play it my style is I would want to switch the Forcets for Mighty Shouters or Roaming Bloodmanes, one or the other. Probably Shouters. I've got a personal thing towards Bloodmane. I like the card that because he's going to get you, allow you to not be blocked with him. You have a double breaker who's not something that people can block a lot of times because of his ability. But because he's at cost 7, he's not as reliable. Mighty Shouter, though.
Let's talk about the deck and not about other cards you would play.
And then, but I do agree. I would like to see Tendril Grasp in this deck.
I don't think this deck is as good as the guy gave it credit for. He cited Death Smoke and Razor Kinder as meta issues, and I don't know what meta he's playing in. I haven't seen Death Smoke and Razor Kinder since the release of Evo Fury because Hydra Medusa is just so much better.
Well, you did see Death Smoke in my original green-black deck, but that came out pretty quick.
Yeah,
it rarely sees play. It's really not that much of an issue. So it seems his argument for having 6 evolutions is that they dodge Death Smoke and Razor Kinder. I don't know about Flame Spike, but seeing as we don't have any other evolutions to play right now, I guess that's what we're going to have to deal with.
I personally like
I don't like Chief Mini Tribes in here. I don't like Force Set in here, and I don't like Drifting Toadstool in here. I think these 3 cards are what are going to kill the deck.
I agree with Drifting Toadstool being there. I would still play Toadstool. Chief Mini Tribes, I think that could be switched for the Tendril Grasp. And Forcet, I'd rather see Mighty Shouter there, but I think Forcet can still do the job. I think he can do the job simply because of the fact that he's cheaper. That's the only reason I think he can still do the job.
But the deck writers seem to think that this deck would be good in the meta, so we're going to put it to the test. I have with me my blue-black tempo, my blurple deck, and we're going to play it against it and see how it does. So,
well, first let's get a good shuffle on this.
Yep.
That is a definite necessity.
And go ahead and get to the other side of the table, and I'll adjust the computer.
Okay.
I expect the green deck to lose, quite frankly, because it seems to be addressing meta things that are not like actually the meta.
I would be surprised if it took 1 game.
I mean, I suppose that's a possibility, but I don't think it will win a match.
If it takes
a match, then I'm wrong. I've been wrong. We've been wrong in the past, like when they released their King Tsunami blue-black control, and people were like, King Tsunami card's so bad. Why are they playing it? And then it top 2'd at a tournament.
I like King Tsunami. I just see him as a hard card to play.
Can you line up with me so that way we're not playing at an angle?
I keep forgetting what King Tsunami does.
He's like 7 for 12 double breaker blocker. He's just a really big blocker that can attack.
Yeah.
And he's 12,000 power?
Yeah. But I don't...
Not 12,000. He's got 9,000 power.
Something like that. I could have sworn there was a 12 in there.
Yeah, he's 9,000 power. He's really good in his own right. He's high cost because he's cost... No, he's not 9,000.
Like I said, I think he's 12,000.
Maybe he's 10,000.
No.
I'm pretty sure he's like 12. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I've got him on the page here. No, number crunch. Next.
8,000. He's 9 for 8. That makes him even worse.
With blocker double breaker. So,
see, that's part of the thing, because other creatures at his cost have better effects, higher power, and if you're going to play a blocker, Grand Gur is bigger for 3 mana less.
Yeah. To be honest,
but he's not in blue.
To be honest, I would hope the nature deck wins because I just hate blurple.
I can understand that. Blurple is like really overpowered right now.
And
it's one of the 2 top decks that
I've been trying to make mono nature work for a while now, so this is another chance for me.
I like nature, but I like my nature decks to have another color. I don't like mono nature decks. I don't know why.
This is why I'm the nature guy.
Yeah, because that's all he'll play.
Power to the tree hugging hippies.
Though you do have a green-black deck that's been doing okay.
Power to the tree hugging hippies.
And notice everything Nathan has today is green.
He's just the green guy. The other day he wore a green jacket. I thought he was trying to be Master Kimura.
You remember my
Maybe that should be his new
my
nickname.
long vest.
No longer Bandit Keith, he is now Master Kimura.
Leave my gut out of this.
You just gotta, turn Asian and dye your hair black.
Leave my gut out of this.
And then put your hair up in a bun.
What did my gut ever do to you?
I'm not talking about your gut. I'm talking about your hair.
Why are you trying to convince me to make another kimono? Really now? Why are you trying to convince me?
I'm not. Whatever. Got any dice, Nick?
I got dice in my pocket.
That's right. You always have dice. And a tape measure.
And pens, and pencils, and a notepad.
Do you have a T-square?
No. That's in the car.
Not nerdy enough.
That's in the car.
Roll the dice already.
Speaking of nerdy,
11.
Beat that.
I want to watch
I got a
King of the
5.
Nerds tonight.
What?
Oh, that is tonight.
Yeah, King of the Nerds.
What time does it come on again?
10 o'clock.
Those shows are never as nerdy as they claim to be.
Well,
Oh, just
Like, I remember when they had, like, the Ultimate Video Game Awards, and those kids were not
one
gamers.
of the judges is a diehard brony. One of the judges on that show is a diehard brony.
well, not only that, what I'm liking about this episode is the fact that George Takei is going to be one of the guests tonight.
Alright. Well, you get to go first if you want.
Yes, I will. I'm going to go ahead and charge Drifting Toadstool. Go.
Charging Cyber Sprite, go.
Charge a Forset. Sprout.
Alright.
Charges Prickleback. Go.
You can't do anything.
Charge Gloom Hollow, go.
Activate the rabbit and defense effect to banish this from.
Charge Forset. Moonhauer Tribe. Go.
Charge Hydra Medusa. Logo Scan. Go.
Charge Sprout. Silver Fist.
Mm-hmm.
Break.
Chain rabbit.
Go.
Place Cyber Trader in mana. Tap 4. For Screeching Scared Orbital, destroy Moonhowler Tribe. Go.
Oh yeah, go look for your stuff.
Yeah, I finally got one like Saturday.
No charge.
But I'm not even
Silver Fist. Double Break.
Terra Pit that one.
Go.
It's like 3 Sam's.
This is what nature does. But here comes the Hydra Medusa.
Yep. Medusa, go. And now the deck's going to burn out and it's not going to do any good against me.
Force it. Go.
Is that good?
Rusalka to return it back to your hand. Cyber Sprite.
Main phase 2.
Rusalka. You just played beside that. Medusa, shield. Your turn.
I was like, you're gonna kill me this turn. I can't do it.
Your deck is ratchet.
I have 5. Charge Return to Soil. Force it. Go.
Mm-hmm.
Your deck's on 40 cards?
Charge Aqua Seneschal. 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Medusa.
Medusa. Shield. Rusalka. Shield. Your turn.
That was a quick turn.
Charge
We always
a
suspended above our heads.
Yeah, it's always been there.
Oh, really?
Razorhead.
Mm-hmm.
Prickleback.
Mm-hmm.
Flame Spike.
Mm-hmm.
Kill Medusa.
Block with Cyber Sprite.
Go ahead.
All charge Scared Orbital. Got 7 mana.
Terra Pit.
Terra Pit. Medusa. Seneschal. Or Chaser, whatever. Go.
A single blast. That's saddening.
It was only, what, 9?
Yeah.
And now it's literally impossible for him to win.
Yeah.
Unless someone's 2 Evos.
Which he
Can't be
doesn't
done.
have the mana for.
Can't be done. But I will go and take out the shields.
I don't think you can have
And game.
And then just for fun of it, because I can.
Medusa?
No. The
Terrapin?
last Medusa's down here.
Oh.
4. Return from Beyond. Put out Cyber Sprite.
Oh, Neuron.
3 for Neuron. Swing for game. Game 1.
That's closer than I thought it was gonna get though.
That wasn't that close. I was sitting on all the options. I was
It
controlling
was
the
just,
board.
it really, this deck came out early.
Yeah.
It came out early, and then
But
it
that
couldn't
deck
push out.
has to come out early though.
Yes. That's why I was saying this is more of a rush style.
And if it doesn't, because it's running 12 high drop creatures
That's why I was saying
and
it's
12 spells.
That's why I was saying it was more of a rush style aggro deck. Your intent is to get to that mana fast, and after you get to it, drop something big, something.
I mean, we're fully aware of the
Make
strategy.
sure-
I'm just saying it's not good. I'm saying it's not a good strategy because it lacks defense and it doesn't have enough
And the whole reason I charged the toadstool
control.
is because of the fact that I had the Sprout in hand. I said I only need one of the 2 cards.
Yeah, I do agree that.
I just need to make sure that I get one of them.
I just agree that Forces should come out because it's terrible.
I said I'd rather play Shouter
Yeah.
over Force It.
I would rather play either Shouter or Lepidus.
I don't think Lepidus is too
Lepidus is
slow
too
for this deck.
expensive.
That's why I say if it's not going to be Shouter, it needs to be Bloodmane.
Lepidus is hampered by his cost.
Yeah.
This is an interesting hand.
Okay, I'll go first. Charge of Chief Mini Tribes, go.
Funny enough, he actually hasn't had the 1-drops each game. Yep.
Charge Root Trap, Sprout.
Okay.
Charging Sabertooth, go.
Oh, at least we know he's
Bone
consistently
Blades,
drawing
go.
Sprout.
Yep. We're each
Charge.
running 40 card decks here.
Flame Spike,
Mm-hmm.
Bronze Arm Tribe,
Yeah.
Charging Sprout, go.
Charge of Screeching. Play Giga Stand. Go.
It's turn 3. He'll be having 6 mana.
Charge Sprout, Flame Spike, Double Break,
Like I really had to bring all my
Terra Pit.
go. That was a turn for Flame Spike.
Yeah.
And then he died.
Since when does anything
Cyber Sprite.
stay long?
Seneschal. Giga Stand. Discard. Shield. Your turn.
Excuse me for a second, please. Hello? Yes? Hey, what's going on, man?
My turn. Did you?
He did that to me. Some judgment.
3
Some judgment
for
from both
Seneschal.
men. I was like,
Yeah, I'd like to try to be there.
cost to stop by 800.
Giga Stand. Shield. Discard.
Yeah, right.
Because I knew you had a super power.
Just text me the information.
Seneschal. Shield. I'll draw.
Problem, dog. What's up?
Go.
That first time you hit me.
Okay. Okay, later.
As CVH says, every game is Seneschal beatdown.
This is the part that sucks.
I was gonna take the Giga Stand out to put in a 3rd Giga Bulver, but I'm glad I kept it in there. This
I
is
like
the
Giga
one-
Stand in
This is
that
the one random Giga Stand in the deck, but he's actually doing work. It's crazy.
I hate to do this, but charge a Sabertooth,
Mm-hmm.
You took the test online, right? Yeah. Okay. Is that as far as you've done?
Reap and Sow,
I've never used a computer
charge a Bronze Arm Tribe,
What was it?
And then 4 mana.
To be like a.
return to
Return to soil
soil.
on. To me, the obvious choice would be Giga Stand.
I'm thinking that, but I'm looking at my hand to make the final decision.
He's like a level 2 Konami judge.
Because he's told, like I've told, like I basically, well, the only thing he
You're gonna lose in 2 turns regardless.
like, he just told me to do it. Like,
He's the event organizer and head judge, so you can.
Yeah, this deck needs the Tendril Grasp. I don't
I'll
No.
charge Rusalka.
I
Tap
don't know
3
if I
for
agree
Logo
with
Scan.
needing 3, but it does need Tendril Grasp.
You might actually lose this turn. Emperor Neuron. Shield. Seneschal Shield.
Hey, that's a blast.
Seneschal for game. Got to draw 3 cards in a row for game. That's match.
The way I see it,
Force it. I would have liked to switch from Mighty
Go
Shouter.
ahead, David.
Chief Mini Tribes, I would take and put the
I would take
Tendril Grasp in their place.
I
But to talk about the deck as it's currently built, the way Wizards has it set up, it can't compete.
No.
At all.
I don't-
Greek Salad has a better chance than that deck.
I agree with Toadstool being in here. I don't agree with Force It, and I don't agree with Chief Mini Tribes.
I don't agree with Toadstool. Well,
I don't agree with Toadstool.
The reason why I agree with Toadstool
You never even
is
played Toadstool because
I got
you
the Sprout. And
Yeah.
see, that's the thing. You want to have...
You never played the Drifting Toadstool
You
because
want to
he's not a
have-
big enough body to be a real threat.
Well, see, here's the thing.
There's no support for flying
You want
fungus.
to have Sprout or Toadstool in your opening hand. Sprout is the preferred of the two because of the fact that it's not going to take from your hand. But you need to have one or the other to play on turn 2. Otherwise, this deck falls down because of the fact that it can't take advantage of the fact that it's going to play the bigger creatures before
Both
you.
of those games you had Sprout turn 2. It seems unnecessary to me to play Toadstool.
Because here's why.
He's dead late game. He's dead late game.
He is, and that's why...
So that's why I would rather play Essence Elf, because Essence Elf is not dead late game.
But see, here's the thing. If you play Essence Elf over him, and you don't draw this Sprout
No.
by turn 2, you have Essence Elf in your hand instead,
Open.
your deck's screwed because you can't
Shut up.
get the
I
step
wouldn't
up
say
over your
that.
opponent.
No,
Never do this.
I wouldn't say it's screwed just because you couldn't charge turn 2. You can
You
still
need-
charge turn 3, turn 4. You're still running nature, so you're still going to
See,
be mana
the
excelling
but see,
faster
that's-
than your opponent.
That's the thing, though. If you're not getting that mana excel on turn 2, I know this from experience. If you're not getting that mana excel on turn 2, your entire deck goes down the tropes because you can't get yourself over your opponent quick enough. The idea is to
You
have
still
it with
couldn't get over me quick enough because you weren't dropping the big guys fast enough. All I had to do was drop little guys. Like all I hit you with was Aqua Seneschal and Gigastan.
That game, I didn't. The big guy, I did drop the big guy. I went turn 4 and played the
Terrapin.
Flame Spike.
And if you
And
hadn't
then-
hit the Terrapin, I had a Rusalka in hand. What were you going to do?
Play him again.
It would take you an entire turn to play him again.
He would have immediately came out and immediately swung again. You had to get rid of him.
I was
Bouncing
going to
him
get rid of
wasn't. Bouncing him.
Bouncing
wasn't
him forces you to spend an entire turn to replay him.
You gain 1,000.
But the other card in my hand was another Flame Spike with the Chief Mini Tribes. I don't like Chief Mini Tribes in the deck. I really don't.
It's not a good deck.
instead of Toadstool, I would put.
It's
I would
just
run
not a good deck.
I know. I would run Tendril Grasp over Toadstool.
That's the
and
only
leave
trend
mini
I
tribes in there until.
Really?
Yeah.
Toadstool is way better than Mini Tribes.
Like, I don't like Toadstool either, but
He's way better than Mini
would
Tribes.
never leave Chief Mini Tribes in over
Okay,
I didn't
Drifting
have
Toadstool.
let me show you. Let me show you some of this deck. Okay, and this you might see. where I'm
Also,
coming
the
from
thing
on
is,
that.
Nathan, is that you always go for the most optimized situation. You're not always going to have the
Well, no,
most
I'm
optimized
flipping the
situation.
hand here. This is the starting.
That's why this
hand.
deck
I just
runs
shuffled.
like
This
5
one-
different draw cards.
This one you happen to get the Sprout. So
That's such a bad hand.
It
Look
is-
at that hand. Look at that. Let's show YouTube this
that
hand.
is a harsh hand.
This is a really bad hand, and that's part of the issue that I mentioned to you earlier. is
Chief
the
Mini
fact-
Tribes off the top. Toadstool after. That,
We've already done that. I
even
won.
so after that.
Nobody's dead.
It's
His deck is dead.
We're talking about humans.
That's illegal.
Only someone snitches.
the only shield that mattered was a return.
It's
to
going
soul.
on YouTube.
Because
The
it
internet will
was
snitch.
Reap and sow, Prickleback, Chief Mini Tribes on the other 4 shields. But there was a return in shields that time.
And that was another thing I mentioned too, is the fact that it doesn't take advantage of the defense
that's-
that nature affords itself.
And I agree, it needs to have the Tendril Grasp. I don't fully.
If you had hit a Tendril Grasp, that would have cleared my entire field.
And like I said, I agree
Actually,
it
no.
needs Tendril
Here's what I
Grasp.
would do.
I don't think it needs 3 though.
I would still
It didn't
say
help
take
either.
out both the mini tribes and one Toadstool.
That's still not helping.
Not just 2 Toadstool.
Okay.
I could kind of agree with that.
And I can see that too because you're still guaranteeing because that gives you 5 turn 2 mana excel. And so that's going to be.
That's a 1 in 10 chance.
Yeah.
You go through 10 cards setting up 5 in shields, 5 in hand, so.
Yeah, so, and that, like I said, as long as you get a Sprout or a Toadstool in
I
your
think I did my
opening
math wrong. I think it's actually a 1 in
It's
20
a-
chance.
it's a 1 in 8 chance of drawing the card. Where it'll be is uncertain. But it's a 1 in 8 chance of drawing the card, and you just need 1 or 2 of them in your first 6 or 7 cards, depending on whether you're going first or second.
But the final consensus is that the deck as it's built by Wizards is a bad deck. There's too many cards in here that just can't really do anything.
Now, I'm pretty sure we have the cards on us to do the changes.
I'm really not interested in doing the changes. I just wanted to make sure that Wizards actually it looked like a bomb on paper. I wanted to be sure it was actually a bomb, and it's a bomb.
I think.
Can we agree that the deck that as they have it built is a bomb?
Against blurple, I can guarantee you it's not going to win against blurple.
And I don't think
it
it's
might be able to take on Water, Nature, Fire, but I
don't think it
can't say for sure. I think it has a chance, but not a guarantee.
It is a good basis to start, though.
I think Water, Nature, Fire is a lot more consistent. Especially since it plays Heat Seekers. So whatever bait you drop on turn 3, turn 4, they can get rid of it.
The reason why I say I think it might stand a chance is I think this would be faster than Water, Nature, Fire.
It would be faster. Water, Nature, Fire would be more consistent, and it has more removal options.
I just think it stands a chance there, but not against blurple.
I don't think it might stand a chance. I don't think it's a very good chance.
Do you have like a binder for your
I think this is probably one of the worst Mono Nature builds we've seen.
Yeah, I think mine was better.
Oh, actually.
I really do. But I knew going into it the way this deck was going to play, and I knew what I had to do to actually pull out a win. And like I said, when I skip my turn without playing anything, I was staring at literally that was what I had in my hand, and that is what I drew.
And it was unfortunate. See,
I can't play anything.
And that's part of the reason why I don't run a full set of Neuron in this deck, because I'm fully aware of the possibility where I could draw a handful of evolutions and get a dead hand. Now, that's not such a problem for me as it is for you, because I've got Neuron himself, I've got Cyber Trader, I've got Aqua Seneschal, I've got Logos Scan, I've got all these cards that let me draw, so that way if I start with a bad hand, it's not going to stay that way.
Like I said, playing this, I agree with Nick on this. I think if it's to play a full set of Tendril Grasp, the third card to come out should be a single Toadstool. But like I said, I agree with Toadstool being in there. Playing it at 3, maybe not as much, but playing it at 2 to be allowed to play 3 Tendril, I like that idea. And like I said, I
think I just heard someone say Tiny Tina.
I really think that the Mighty Shouter.
I'm sorry, I kind of had a Borderlands nerd moment.
I believe either Mighty Shouter or Roman Bloodman, either of those two, would be better plays over the Forces.
But in this deck, Forset isn't capable of responding to the enemy threats. Toadstool is dead late game.
Sprout's dead late game.
Yeah, Sprout's dead late game. But Sprout at least is a better option early game because it doesn't take from your hand.
Yeah, and this is why I said you want to. That's why you saw me charge the Toadstool, and it's because I already had the Sprout.
The deck runs too many high-cost creatures. Half of which are revolutions. It's running 12 high-cost creatures.
Yeah.
Root Trap. They're still high-cost. They're 5 and 6 mana respectively.
Yeah, but
and then Sabretooth is the cheapest one at 4, but he requires bait.
In this deck,
and then like some of his bait is as expensive as he is.
In this deck, respectively, I think really the only time that you're going to need more than 6 mana is if you're staring at a hand and you know what your opponent's playing, that you can't get your bait out there and keep your bait out there, is when you're having to hold on to bait in hand to try to go straight from
like what you did, Prickle back
to Flame Spike. Bait to Flame Spike, I think, is the only time you really need excessive mana. Other than
but
that,
I think if it's going to be a rush build, it needs more small creatures, less of those big creatures.
That's the thing, though. It's the idea behind this deck.
I get the idea behind the deck. I'm telling you the idea is a bad idea and the idea needs to change.
Well, see, here's the thing. Unlike most rush decks, if you go Mono Nature Rush, you empty your hand and then you can't do anything else.
That's how all Rush decks play.
But see, the thing is, with like,
Nature's notorious.
And that's why Rush is an extremely scary deck to play both against and as the player playing it. Because you either win or you lose in the first 2 or 3
but see, here's the
turns.
thing: if you play Mono Fire Rush, there's actually the
Mono Fire is better because it's got more aggressive early game options.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying is like their low cost stuff actually achieve things. While nature, your low cost stuff that's really good is Prickleback, but Prickleback's going to turn around and return to your hand, so he slows you down in the long run.
Moonhowler Tribe.
Moonhowler
There's actually a
Tribe.
lot. Essence Elf.
Essence Elf is nice, but it's
Essence Elf is good because it helps your 2,000 power
the
creatures
cards that's
swing
not-
over your opponent's 2,000
the
power.
cards that's not in here that actually would rush is trying to think of the name of it, but there is a Power Attack 2000 plan.
Thorny Creeper.
Thorny Creeper. That would be one that would be in the nature.
There's actually
rush.
a lot of good cards for Rush in nature, but that doesn't run them.
I would try.
Anyway, I think we've talked enough about this deck.
Karate.
I disagree to Karate Carrot. But anyway, we talked
too
about
late
this deck. Bottom line, it's not good.
4 mana.
It's not good. It's not good. We can agree, right? That's not good.
The build as it is,
It's not good.
No.
All right. So that's
with
it, everybody.
changes, we might be able to make it work, but as it is,
Mono Nature still really can't compete nowadays. It just really can't. You would like it to, but it just can't. None of the Mono decks really can compete because I ran Mono Dark for a while and that did poorly. And Mono Fire did well for a little bit until people learned how to respond to it, and now that does poorly.
has
Well, it's
anyone
because
even done Mono Water?
I did Mono Water in a tournament. I went like 1 and 2. The deck that I beat was a Mono Nature. So, yeah, Mono decks aren't particularly good right now because each deck only has one card that actually benefits from it. So,
We'll see what comes out of the next pack.
it's not a. I mean, I understand Wizards. I respect that you're trying to do like deck doctor things, but I think that you should probably show more consideration for the decks that you're building and a better and like pay closer attention to the meta as it currently is, because right now the biggest cards in the meta are indeed. Let me find one because it's in here. Everyone knows what I'm looking for. Rusalka's big right now. Rusalka's big right now. Medusa is the card that is currently owning this meta because it's the card that makes blurple work. It's the card that makes Greek Salad kind of work. Greek Salad suffers in that it doesn't have the draw power of water, so it's more it's not as consistent.
The benefit of Greek Salad was the fact that you
can get to mana
you're
faster.
doing the Medusa before your opponent.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that you were consistently doing Medusa. It was
The
the
thing
fact
is
that
that
you were
one thing
Medusing
I've learned is that the more
before your
consistent a
opponent.
deck plays, the more likely it's going to win.
Yeah,
But-
and that's all games. And like the idea behind the Greek Salad deck was the fact that rather than being able to draw through your whole deck to find it, it was
Also,
the idea
the
behind
idea
the
was
deck
that it
was to
didn't
stop
necessarily
you
have to-
from being able to do it before me.
The idea too was to be like more aggressive because
Yeah.
Sabretooth coming out turn 4, he's a monster.
Yeah, Sabretooth
And then he
turn-
dies and he gives you 2 more mana. Now you're at 6 mana and you could easily, if you're running Gigabulver, 1/5 to Medusa.
Yeah, the idea behind it is just that you do things.
Like I'll run 2 random Gigabulver in here because
You do things
and I've
before your
been
opponent.
able to do that once. Like I had 6 mana, I'm like Gigabulver to Medusa.
I think we need to work on Greek
But yeah.
Salad though. I really do.
But yeah, Wizards. I think you need to take a closer look at the decks that you post. I mean, I know not everyone is like super hardcore into this like we are, but when we're trying to rely on you for information, and when the decks you post are kind of subpar, I'm trying to be as respectful as possible here because they make this game and it's a great game, but their deck articles are
The
lackluster.
only way to make this deck show more consistency.
Is to add another color.
Well, no, I'm saying as Mono Nature.
It's not going to happen as Mono Nature.
It's a card that, yes, it's good. I see it as a bad card simply because it requires too much setup. This deck would run amazingly better with Great Arenas.
That would slow it down.
But that's the thing. It requires setup, and that's
Yeah.
the problem. It's Great Arena
If
would
it requires setup, it's bad because right now everything is so transient right now because everything dies so easily that any setup you try to do is probably going to fail.
this deck needs to have a true advantage is not necessarily more Evos,
No, you do.
but more
I would
fast
say
attack.
I would say better Evos. Fast attack is a strictly fire thing. Nothing but fire gets fast attack. If we're going for faster creatures, I would try. Like I would hope that we get another Beastkin evolution that's cheaper than Flame Spike, and better suits the purpose of the deck than Flame Spike. Because as I said, Flame Spike's ability is next to useless.
Something I would like to see out of a nature deck for an Evo, out of a new Evo, is I would like, and nature already has abilities like this, something that says either A, it can't be blocked period, or it can't be blocked by something with lower power.
Here's something that would
at
be
a low
nice.
cost.
Because nature was known as the civilization. We've got Essence Elf that does this too, as the civilization that provides a buff to power. It's not a power attack. It's just a straight buff to power.
Yeah.
And there was a card in Duel Masters. It was an evolution, 2 mana, 5,000 power. It was called Bark Whip the Smasher. And I don't remember if he gave power after attacking or if he just straight gave power, but he gave your other Beastkin 2,000 power. And I think something like that would be really useful, but probably overpowered because we have turn 1 Pickleback. So turn 1 Pickleback, turn 2 Bark Whip, 5,000 power go. That'd probably be overpowered. I don't know.
What I would say would really be a good evolution
I would
for
play
this
Bark
deck.
Whip over Flame Spike any day.
Yeah, for what he does, he's amazing.
But we're probably not going to see him, just like we're probably not going to see the
But
likes
I
of
would-
Crimson Hammer.
I would, over Flame Spike, I would prefer to see, like I was saying, something that has an ability written exactly like Roaming Bloodmane or
Stampeding Longhorn.
yeah, Stampeding Longhorn, where it either something that either says it can't be blocked at all, or something that says
Can't be blocked at all is a water thing.
yeah,
Can't be blocked by creatures with lower power as a nature thing.
yeah, and or even if it just had equal or lower power, would be fine. But a nature with a low cost, like another 3 or 4 cost.
Yeah.
Evolution. Whether or not he has double breaker, debatable. But the thing
How
is
about
with
this?
nature
We can
is
make
there's
him
a
a 3-drop, 3 power attack plus 4, similar to Bestial Rage Tatsurian. Because power attack is something that appears in nature every once in a while.
Yeah.
Make him kind of like Laser Arm, where he's a 3+4. Maybe not a double breaker, but he has the benefit of being unblockable by any creature who's lower in power than him.
if he's
I don't know.
Here's
We'll
the way I see
speculate
it.
on this later because we're straying from
If
the point
it's-
of this.
if it's a 3
we're straying
cost-
from the point of the video, and we're already 40 minutes in. So
Yeah.
let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Wizards, we adore you. Please make better decks so that way we can rely on you for information. I'm trying to be
Not
respectful.
be misleading.
Yeah, it's a little misleading because you post it up there, you make it sound like a good deck, and then it really isn't. But it was just a fun activity
Well,
to
as
test
we
it
saw,
out.
it seems like the deck was just out of date.
It didn't take the meta into regard. That was part of the problem, is that it made you look like you don't really, you're not connected with your player base. You don't know what's going on. I sound so hateful right now. I'm not meaning to be, but yeah.
It's hard to address something like this and not be very criticizing.
The thing is that it was talking about a meta that no longer exists. It is essentially
That's why I
addressing,
was saying
it's
outdated.
addressing an outdated meta, and it makes them sound disconnected from the player base, and it's a matter for concern, especially since there was rumors that we were supposed to be getting an organized play announcement, and where's our announcement? Anyway, that's all for now. Kaijudo Masters, Duel On. We still have plenty more videos to post up. Over the last weekend, I recorded like half a
I
dozen or so
didn't get
videos.
anything.
Yeah. Oh well. So
I wanted to, but didn't.
the Gavin Verley, whatever.
Gavin Verhey.
Gavin Verhey Mono Nature deck.
Or Verhey.
Tested, disapproved. So
I
That's it,
will rebuild mine at a later date.
preferably after the new set.
If you want me to wait till after the news,
I'd like you to wait till after the new set and see what options we get, because I think you pretty much exhausted Mono Nature as it could possibly be right now.
So,
But that's
Yeah,
it.
I think
Duel On
I think
Kaijudo Masters.
I think you currently built the best build from Mono Nature.
I
sign us
didn't
out?
agree with.
Can I sign us out?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Duel On Kaijudo Masters. We will see you
I
later.
actually thought you already turned it off.
Can you sign me up?